This is an outline of a story called Three Friends. It's set in the mid-70s, early to mid-70s. And it's about a cat and an orphan girl and a vagrant street beggar and the foster parent. We have a poor little girl. She's only about 9 or 10 years old, an orphan, and she's been appointed a foster parent. The foster parent, the woman, is not very nice. In fact, she's really quite horrible. And she's got a son, a kind of biological son, and she's got this orphan girl that she's looking after, but she's only really doing it for the allowance she gets from the social services. And all her attention is spent on Kate looking after her son, and the little girl gets neglected. So the little girl just wanders around in the street, and she befriends a lovely cat. Here's a cat. It lives on scraps, and is an old musician, street beggar, or artist who plays a flute and gets occasional coins and things. And the cat hangs around with the musician, and he feeds it tidbits, and the girl befriends this cat. So she adores it. It's her best friend in the world, the cat. So this is the orphan girl, and this is her looking after the lovely cat, and there's the street musician making sure everybody's okay. So there's three friends here: the cat, the girl, and the guy. The woman on the right is a horrible, domineering, caustic woman who continually runs the girl down, always horrible and vicious with her comments, and what she's saying here, gossiping with someone in the shop, that how the girl's a burden on her, and she's getting in the way of her getting the right food for her son. And she's saying he gets this, he gets that, and the girl gets nothing but neglect. So she's whinging and moaning, and the reason why, of course, she's got the girl to look after is simply because she gets some kind of increased status or an allowance for her. When this is the little girl trying to creep into the library in a very timid way, because she has to have some purpose or something to do. So she seeks refuge in the library and goes in there and studies books, and she looks up fantasy books about mythical creatures from ancient history, and this gives her a sense of hope, because she perhaps thinks that one of these mythical, heroic, spiritual creatures may help her with her plight today. So she studies very hard, and this is a big part of what keeps her going, the living in this world of fantasy, which she learns from these elaborate pictorial books she gets from the library. What happens is our foster parent gets the girl to do all the chores. And she's even got her now standing on a ladder here, a small ladder, washing the windows while she's having a cigarette there. And what the woman's doing, the foster parent, is looking out for the social worker. Because if she sees the social worker approaching, then she'll change over and she'll pretend it's her that's doing the windows. And so she's keeping an eye out in case she gets caught out. Well, she's smoking away, but she's getting the girl to do the chores. And these are a bunch of hoodlums between the ages of about 14 to 16. So they're quite big lads, and they're running around the pack, causing havoc. And they've already beaten up the street musician, given a right good doing, and he's in hospital. And the next target is the girl and her friend, the cat. They've already destroyed one of her friends. The next target they have is the girl herself, and they're going to kill the cat, wring its neck. So they're in a pack and are heading for her. The girl's getting more and more educated, and she heads for a telephone box to try and make some communication to a higher authority. The telephone box itself is all smashed up. All the glass is smashed to pieces, and the line isn't connected. It hasn't been connected for quite a long time. But she's trying to protect the cat. So she feels that if she goes in there, that's like a fortress or a little mini castle in her mind. She takes the cat in there to stop it from getting its neck wrung, and then she picks up the handset of the phone and speaks in a very articulate way down the line, and she's asking mythical creatures if they can come and help her to deal with the evil force of the thugs. And so with great sincerity, she's reciting all sorts of different pieces of wisdom that she knows and speaks down. In her mind, she hears responses which gives her strength and hope, but it is all in her imagination, and but hopefully it works and it boosts her confidence, because what she's going to do is she's got the cat in there at her feet. The thugs are bearing down on her, and she's very calmly asking for help and believes the force of good will come to her down the telephone line.
Three Friends. The beautifully vulnerable and gorgeous cat lives on the street, surviving on scraps and the kindness of an old man, a street musician, who plays his flute wonderfully for just a few coins. The little orphan girl is relentlessly bullied by her horrible foster mother, who is more interested in painting her toenails, drinking, and playing bingo than the welfare of the wee girl she's supposed to be looking after. Consequently, the little girl spends most of her time out on the street to get away from her uncaring and nasty foster parent with her constant horrid comments. The welfare system cannot cope and turns a blind eye to the wee girl's plight. But she does have a friend in the cat, and the girl adores the cat and is very protective of it. She also has a friend in the kind and caring street beggar. However, a bunch of young thugs kick the girl about for their own gratification and amusement, and then they beat up the street musician so badly that it puts him into hospital. Next, they viciously threaten to break the neck of her only companion left, the cat. The young girl seeks refuge in a broken-down telephone box with a long-ago disconnected line, and she takes the cat inside the phone box with her to protect it from the thugs. In her desperation, she speaks down the line and asks for courage and help from a source which is only in her imagination. Will help and support come back to her down the telephone line, giving her the strength to stand up to the thugs?